Hello, my name is Trevor Ponto, and this is my Week 1 presentation for Environmental Risk Assessment. Today, I'll be sharing air quality data for Charleston County, South Carolina, specifically the tract for West Ashley and downtown Charleston, and explaining what it means for our community. The area I focused on is Charleston County, South Carolina, specifically the census tract that covers West Ashley and downtown Charleston. This tract is located in EPA Region 4. According to the AirTalk screen tool, the total combined cancer and non-cancer risk here is about 34 per million people. That number represents the estimated additional risk for long-term exposure to certain air pollutants in this area. When we look closer at the data, the total risk can be divided into point and non-point sources. Point sources contribute around 7.6 per million and come from single identifiable facilities like factories or plants. Non-point sources contribute about 13.2 per million and come from many smaller sources, such as residential heating, small businesses, and local traffic. The rest of the risk comes from mobile sources, background pollution, and secondary chemical formations. A point risk can be things such as the cargo ship facility, which normally has like fuel sources that could be risked, and then the bottom one like traffic. Three pollutants dominate the cancer risk in this tract. Formaldehyde makes up more than half of the total risk at 18.57 per million. Ethylene oxide is second at 13% or 4.4 per million and is a chemical Charleston has dealt with historically due to industrial emissions. Carbon tetrachloride comes in third, making up nearly 10% of the risk at 3.06 per million. Other chemicals like acetaldehyde and benzene contribute smaller amounts. When we break down the risk by source type, secondary formation accounts for the largest share at 44.2%. This is mostly tied to formaldehyde created through chemical reactions in the air. Stationary point sources contribute 22.4%, and that includes facilities like factories and cargo ship terminals at the port. Background pollution accounts for 8.5%, coming from areas outside Charleston. The rest is made up of natural sources, labeled as biogenics at 7.1, and a category called OR, which is the other risk category, at 7.8%, along with smaller miscellaneous sources. In the past, the EPA published detailed emissions for each facility, showing exactly what was released and in what quantities. The level of detail is no longer available in the AirTalk screen tool, so we can't show that. Instead, the tool reports aggregated categories like point sources or mobile sources. From earlier reports, we know that Charleston County's chemical manufacturing facilities and port operations have released compounds like formaldehyde, ethylene oxide, and other volatile organic compounds. While we can still see the overall pattern, it is harder to link a specific chemical to a specific site today. These pollutants are not unique to Charleston, but their impact can grow over time. Long-term exposure can raise cancer risk and also affect respiratory and cardiovascular health. Groups like children, seniors, and those with existing health conditions are often more vulnerable to these effects. By understanding which pollutants are the most significant and where they come from, communities and policymakers can make more informed decisions about monitoring and reducing risk. In South Carolina, the Department of Health and Environmental Control manages industrial air permits and ensures facilities meet state and federal standards. In recent years, DHEC has taken steps to reduce ethylene oxide emissions, and the levels here in Charleston are now much lower than they were several years ago. However, formaldehyde remains a significant challenge, especially because much of it forms through chemical reactions in the atmosphere, which makes it harder to control directly. Still, steps are being taken to ensure that the levels in the air come down. In summary, Charleston's air quality has seen improvements in some areas, like reduced ethylene oxide levels, but certain pollutants, especially formaldehyde, continue to be a concern. Most of the overall risk is tied to a few key pollutants and specific sources, making it possible to target solutions more effectively. Ongoing monitoring, transparent reporting, and community awareness will all be important in protecting public health moving forward. Thank you for listening.